This is Nichel Anderson. This is my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to kind of get into this, and before I do, let me say my opening prayer, which is, in this day, I am thankful to the prime creator of all things, that I give thanks for this blessing and opportunity, that I will use it for the greater good. So this is releasing the week of Thanksgiving, and it's one of my favorite holidays, okay? Thanksgiving has a lot of symbolic meaning to me, and the whole holiday. We're not going to get in deep into the history of it starting, what have you, and thereafter. But nonetheless, I like to look at the main points of it, and that is giving thanks and gratitude for having what you have in your life. And also for me, it was a special time where, I connected in a way with God that defined my journey to now and going forward. So it's very special to me, how God showed how much He loved me. So with that, I guess have it that said. So at any rate, we're going to move forward. And with that, we're going to talk about this. This is my episode 140. The title is Top 5 Strategies for Leadership to Propel to Success. So in this podcast, that my aim for it now going on 9 years, y'all. Come on. Getting it done, okay? And it's about understanding how you manage the journey. And with this particular top 5, I did another episode, I think 1 or 2 years ago. I just said, this would be good. Let's do top 5 leadership, tips. I don't know who listened to that podcast. I don't know where it's posted. And I get busy with other projects. And I just recently realized that that is one of my most download episode of my whole. I'm gonna go back and double check, but the last time I did, y'all, it was like the most download. So I don't know. I do know that's God blessing me. Come on, I'm gonna call it, claim it. And it's somewhere that is just taken off. One part of time, it just went viral when I looked at the dates that the downloads happened, and it just kind of spiked all the way up. And it wasn't no special thing going on, so it happened a couple of times. But right now, it is holding the title as one of the top downloads. I have a link to it, but it's basically the top 5 strategies for leadership. But don't quote me on that, because I'm kind of looking at different things right here. But I try to have that episode, a link there, and it just took off. So whoever did that for me, when God said, help her, and you did that, that helps the 360 here as a collective. That helps. It keeps moving. We help one another. And I just want to say thank you for doing that and feeling that it was worthy enough to put it somewhere that it's getting a lot of traffic of my podcast episode and my podcast show. And in that helps when I bring on guests and they're sharing their story and what they're creating and what have you. It makes it more by getting into the feed when you have more eyes on it, more people listening to it. So I just want to give a big hug and thank you so much. I don't know who it is, but oh my God. If you go to my website, I'm looking at these stats oh my God, something's going on. Because, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working on my other project with my Egypt. And I've been doing music. So I really hadn't time to really, like I used to, every day, my stats, right? And I kind of from my music perspective, it was a few times during the month, where before it was all the time. And it just really took off, that episode. And even my podcast show over the years, I'm very impressed, particularly this year, it really took off. I'm seeing across the board. But that episode right there, wherever it is, I am grateful. Okay? Hallelujah. Don't know who it is, but somebody love me. I appreciate you. And give my blessing through God. Thank you, Jesus. Lord, I don't know who you are, but you're helping me. That I created on my website. I'm like, oh my gosh, this went viral, and I didn't even, I created an ebook. I created a course. I created, what else? I did a lot. When I saw that, I started Green Empress. I figured out. And yes, and even when I did that, I saw an increase of people on my site looking at it. So, at any rate, let's move forward, and I'm grateful and thank you for you. Thank you. I'm gonna come up with some more. I don't know. Maybe I do t-shirts. I don't know. Top 5 leadership. People are loving it. So anyhow, so that was fun, and we're going to get into this. So I like to kind of start off my main points. The main point number one of what I'm discussing today in this episode 140 is that your effort to show that you're connecting with everyone, that you're aiming to build a relationship that matters, that's success. So in this here that I'm focusing on, the top 5 strategies for leadership to prepare to success, it's not defining what success is, but it's basically what you're doing. What you do helps to connect in a relationship that is your employees and your customers. We're going to kind of talk about that further on in this episode. The second is my wisdom point segment that I like to focus on right quick, and that's where I'm talking about in a sense of narrow it down. What I'm going to be discussing is understanding what message you give in being and doing for others to help you to build that rapport that is important in successful harvesting. I've added that because what you plant is what you shall receive. Now, of course, in corporate America, what have you, it takes a while for them to be able to like realize you shouldn't be doing that. So you want to get not in that area where it's going to come back and, you're not going to like it, but start planting those seeds that what you plant is the harvest that you want, which most companies, of course, want to be profitable, want their brand to be admired and respected. But what good is that if you have job reviews in the sense that you're coming up with 0 or 1, or maybe you propped it up and you got 3.1, something? It doesn't reflect the energy. And that's what we're going to talk about today to get to those top 5, what you should consider to implement in your company. All right. So number one, we got make sure your internal brand matches up with your external brand. So what I mean by that we have sometimes where companies can like have this facade, this brand equity because the product is good, right? The service are good. The merchandise is good, and the companies is, the customers are raving about it, but yet the work conditions doesn't match up. Okay, so how can you fix that? So how you can fix that is basically understanding where's the shortest of showing the appreciation. I'm gonna let that sit on the table for a moment as we pour a glass of wine. I'm sorry, this time it's a glass of water, but nonetheless, here we are. And when that doesn't match up, I really feel by working at different types of corporations, I always got connected to higher leadership. High, okay, like CEO level and different management and leadership in that regard. And they always want the brand to be what the mission statement would be or the vision or what have you. However, the inter departments doesn't. So the leaders that I end up meeting or understanding, they took the time to bypass any middle person and learn what the employees are looking for and what is lacking, what's not matching up. So whenever they're describing about the experience or what their struggles are at the job, if it doesn't match up to the brand message that's going to the customer, it's an unbalance, and that's not really successful. You can get the profit, you can get the revenue and maybe the position in the market here and there, but then you end up getting a high turnaround that customers can end up seeing that and want to support it and might withdraw. So you have to keep that in balance. And in order to do that, I said, is to have that connection of understanding, taking the inventory of what is being done, what is not. I think if you put this to perspective, it narrows number one, not just the customer first, but put your employees first. Now, what I say by that, of course, you can't please and give them everything, that's not going to work. But you do it within means of negotiation, but does it in a way that we're here for you because we know this is a partnership. I remember saying to somebody else that as long as we focus on that we are a team, everything should flow. Whenever anybody of management, whatever you want to say I, or even when you say an employee want to say it's you got to do this and do that, you just shouldn't be demanding, but just come to the table and be reasonable. That's a fair position. So let's get into number 2 point. Number 2 point for me to share is listening and being what you say matches up with what you are doing. So if you're or whatever need this or that, you honor that by understanding and listen to see what you can do or what they need, and it doesn't create a problem later. So when employees do give their feedback or do say this or that, you want to be able to understand that in a way that they are heard. So follow up and then why it's not. And then sometimes some management, what have you, would say that this is going to happen and it don't, or it takes too long. You got to be on top of that. So then let's look on the employee side, because this really is, we could say management because they have the power to make decisions, so it's huge. I never forgot some management company, and they said, whenever there's a big problem, we always go to management to either remove and to rehire, whatever, because that's it's all. I never forgot that what the executive told me of a company that they ran, that the CEO, what have you, will call them in to fix something's going on. Like number one, it's not matching up to the brand because we have all these internal issues with our employees. Okay, and it's big when you kind of look at that. That has to be addressed. Now the other part I like to kind of look as well to be the whole 360, I like to say, is the employees have to have the expectations, right? So if it's not fitting out, if it's not that, you can't gripe about it. You got to figure out and make a decision what you're going to do. Are you going to stay? Are you going to go? Or are you going to try to work it out? That's on the employee side. So when we look at number two about listening and being honest of what you already know of the limitations of the company and what they need to do, and present it in a way that is calm. Narrow it down, one, two, three. It's kind of hard when you get emotionally involved because you kind of get all into it. But I feel this, and it's at the same time, it's like time. It's just like I want to say when you want to go and make an order, you name off the things that what you need to make the orders, what you want to keep. So you be precise. Now it's going to be moments where it's very emotional. You know what I mean? I want to work about it. You can have toxic people there, but by doing that, you rise above, so you can have less anxiety and stress. So that's the employee side, and you can say for in management too, because they get stressed out or what have you. But listening and taking note, and then following up, and then coming up with any type of reasoning if it hasn't happened or you can't do it, and listening to those that might be more expressive, right? So that's number two. Number three is don't overwork employees. So let's say understaffing. I think that's a big thing going on now with the AI, and most companies think they kind of. Okay, think about that. Like, create a tank, or what have you, or group. And what they do is take the legwork off your to-do list and really get into the data points of what a person can do in the hours that they're working and what the tools are available. And if not, that's a great project to create. How that's going to help you is going to give you new ideas, give you new options, give you ability to be able to understand that is more resources out there, and it can motivate the employee by doing something different. Maybe an employee don't like to say, you don't have to do work today, you on a special project. Okay, they ready for it. And also it helps to kind of line that you're listening to the other experience. Like, when you're a customer, you get the survey about your experience, the product. But then this helps the employee on the other side to kind of listen and understand and share their experience working with customers, good, bad, and you fill in the rest. And that helps you to not overwork when you really need to either hire or maybe, redefine the AI. I just had a wonderful guest, and I'm going to air that. And that's his specialty, to find ways to make it more efficient that everybody can succeed on. So do look out to that. He's also coming out with a book. And if I have time, I would definitely try to put this in the podcast of his information. But nonetheless, yes, so that's what you want to do for number three. So number four is show appreciation more. And I know a lot of companies have this and that and they do different things, but showing appreciation could be just as small as out the blue. And this happened to me a couple of times. Would just come to where the employee is and just kind of like say, I appreciate you, or I just, we was doing cookies today, and I just want to say, those little things matter as well. That's a perfect time to refocus and reconnect to what was said before when I mentioned listening to what their needs are, understanding how their experience are with customers, and learning, getting their feedback experience with customers. Because sometimes you have the good, the bad, and you fill in the rest. And then the customer, of course, they have their experience, and you're getting that to fine and tune the products and service. But it's hard to find companies that fine and tune up the internal workplace. Now, tip number five is going to be quick and simple, y'all. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Whatever it is that's been holding on, that's been not working in alignment to prepare you to the success that you can feel really good, not just pumping it up, but really honestly, that is managing you at peace with it, right? If it's not there, you have to fix it. and how you're going to fix what is utilizing, understanding what the employee is going through, understanding. I think every management need to do the job to be able to know the job, to come back and can talk about the job to fix it, right? And if they can't manually do it, they got to have somebody there that is their right hand that's doing it and replaying it and showing the parts. They got to definitely see it live and understand it. It's easy to kind of give this or that, but if you're not in it, it's hard to show that emotion that you're connected to know to fix it. So with that done and said, those are my top fives. And the strategies, I guess I kind of already add that in there, so I'm not going to do that. So your task to dust to dawn, this segment is just basically creating a blueprint to follow to tap into the energy of your internal workplace, and then comparing that to what your message is externally to your customers. Does it match up? Does the brand message is the same that you want to create for your employees? And when that happens, it's a wonderful, wonderful vibe that you want to keep. So your motivational takeaway, I should say, fix it. Okay? All right. I appreciate you. Check out my website, NichelAnderson.com. And like I said, I created a course, y'all, or, I created several things on that top 5 leadership. And I hope you check it out, and my books and what have you, and my other episodes. And thank you so much. And I'll talk to y'all in the next one.